The story of Spanish tennis has always been written with passion, sweat, and a legacy that transcends generations. Yet today, a new page is being written, one that connects the name Carlos Alcaraz with a record that once belonged to the greatest Spanish icon of all time, Rafael Nadal. For nearly 2 decades, Nadal's reign was untouchable. The King of Clay collected 22 Grand Slam titles, built an empire of unforgettable triumphs, and set marks that many believed would remain forever. His racket from the 2017 Roland Garros final, a match where he dismantled Stan Wawrinka without losing a set, was a symbol of that dominance. It became the most expensive racket ever sold in tennis history, auctioned for an astonishing €157,000. That figure stood as an untouchable benchmark. Until now. At just 22 years old, Carlos Alcaraz has rewritten that record. His racket from the 2023 Wimbledon final, the one he used to defeat Novak Djokovic in one of the most dramatic 5-set battles in recent memory, has just been sold for $173,000, around €149,000, officially becoming the most valuable tennis racket ever auctioned. The sale, verified by Prestige Memorabilia, confirmed that the racket was used in 10 official matches, including that unforgettable afternoon on center court when the young Spaniard toppled Djokovic to win his first Wimbledon title. It wasn't just another victory. It was a moment that marked the passing of the torch. That match changed everything. Alcaraz, visibly nervous at the start, was crushed 6-1 in the first set. But then came the fight back, the signature that has already defined his short yet extraordinary career. In a breathtaking tiebreak in the second set, he held his nerve, turned the momentum, and carried that fire all the way to a 6-4 win in the fifth. The roar of the crowd that day echoed across the tennis world. It was the day a new champion was truly born. Now that same racket, once wielded by trembling hands, later by a warrior's grip, has become an artifact of sporting history. The buyer remains anonymous, but one thing is certain. Its value will only increase as Alcaraz's legend grows. Rafael Nadal's legacy isn't fading, it's evolving. The man from Manacor remains the spiritual heart of Spanish tennis. But the torch has been passed, not through ceremony, but through action. Alcaraz's relentless drive, his smile, and his willingness to challenge the impossible have made him the face of a new generation. And it isn't just about records on the court. Alcaraz's influence has become a cultural phenomenon. Brands compete for his image, tournaments adjust schedules for his presence, and millions follow his every move. The racket that now holds the record represents much more than a piece of equipment. It symbolizes the fusion of legacy and future, of Nadal's foundation and Alcaraz's new empire. To understand the magnitude of this achievement, one must compare eras. At 22, Alcaraz already owns 6 Grand Slam titles, a number that surpasses Nadal's tally, 5, at the same age, and completely eclipses that of Federer and Djokovic, who each had just won at 22. The acceleration of his career has no modern precedent. Every victory feeds into something greater, a global aura, an economic force, and an emotional connection with fans that few athletes ever achieve. His success isn't just measured in trophies, it's measured in impact. And yet, amid the millions, the fame, and the records, there's something unchanged about Alcaraz: his humility. Those who train with him at his academy in Murcia say that the same boy who used to hit balls barefoot in the sun still smiles before every session. He still thanks the staff every morning, says one insider. He hasn't forgotten where he came from. That authenticity has become part of his power. Sponsors see it, the ATP feels it, and fans adore it. His story is no longer just about a prodigy. It's about how a young man carries a country's expectations while remaining grounded. The Wimbledon Racket record only confirms what the tennis world already knows. Alcaraz isn't just the successor to Nadal. He's building his own myth, faster than anyone imagined. Next comes the final stretch of his season. With the ATP Finals in Turin and the Davis Cup in Bologna ahead, the Spaniard is not slowing down. Every swing of his racket now feels heavier, not with pressure, but with purpose. Because for Carlos Alcaraz, records aren't the end. They're only checkpoints on the road to greatness. Just days after his historic Wimbledon racket sale, Carlos Alcaraz found himself once again at the center of global headlines. This time, not for a record, but for leadership. As the tennis world processed the surprising withdrawal of Jannik Sinner from the Davis Cup finals, the equation changed overnight. What was expected to be a balanced competition suddenly tilted in Spain's favor. The news broke on a quiet Monday afternoon. Sinner out, Alcaraz in. The announcement came from David Ferrer, captain of the Spanish team, confirming that Alcaraz, the current world #1 and reigning champion of 2 Grand Slams this season, would lead Spain's charge in Bologna from November 19th to 23rd. For the Spanish camp, it was the ultimate boost of morale. For the Italians, a devastating blow. And for tennis fans, a twist no one saw coming. Jannik Sinner, visibly exhausted after a grueling season and an emotional 6 Kings Slam campaign in Riyadh, had explained that his decision was based on physical recovery and planning for 2026. His absence left Italy, the defending champion, without its brightest star and most reliable point scorer. That vacuum immediately positioned Spain, led by Alcaraz, as the new favorite for the title. Ferrer's reaction was measured but proud. "Having the world #1 in your lineup changes everything," he said during a press briefing. "Carlos doesn't just bring victories, he brings belief. Like Rafa did for us years ago." That comparison, coming from Ferrer himself, Nadal's longtime teammate and former world #3, carried weight. For Spain, having a figure like Alcaraz means more than just talent. It means identity, unity, and inevitability. Ferrer, however, also knows that the Davis Cup is not just about one man. His challenge will be to find the right balance for the second singles spot. "It's the end of the year," he noted. "Some players arrive fresher than others. We'll decide based on form and mental sharpness. But one thing's certain, with Carlos leading, we're entering Bologna with ambition." This return to the national team also marks a personal turning point for Alcaraz. Having missed earlier Davis Cup rounds due to injuries and scheduling conflicts, the 22-year-old saw this event as both duty and destiny. "Playing for Spain is different," he said. "It's not about rankings. It's about pride." His words resonated deeply among fans and former players alike. The Davis Cup has always held special meaning for Spanish tennis, from Nadal's fiery battles in Madrid to Ferrer's unforgettable wins in 2009 and 2011. And now, Alcaraz was stepping into that same arena, carrying a generation's hopes. The draw, however, will not make things easy. Spain opens against the Czech Republic, a solid team with strong doubles credentials. Should they advance, a potential semi-final clash with Germany, led by Alexander Zverev, looms large. And if destiny decides, the grand final could pit Spain against Italy, without Sinner, but still dangerous at home. Playing in Italy adds another layer of intrigue. Ferrer downplayed the potential hostility of the crowd, saying, "Unless we meet Italy, it will feel neutral." Spanish players have experience, and Carlos has charisma. Even fans in Bologna will want to see him play. Indeed, Alcaraz's popularity transcends borders. His charisma, a rare mix of joy and intensity, has made him one of the most beloved figures in world tennis. "He plays with happiness," Ferrer said, "and that's contagious." The Spaniard's presence also represents something symbolic, a shift in the global tennis landscape. With Nadal's era gradually concluding and Djokovic entering his twilight, Alcaraz has become the face of the sport's new chapter. His leadership in the Davis Cup isn't just about winning matches. It's about continuing Spain's lineage of greatness. Behind the scenes, preparation for Bologna has already begun. Alcaraz's team, including his longtime coach Juan Carlos Ferrero, is managing his workload carefully to ensure he peaks physically. After the 6 Kings Slam and the Paris Masters, every decision is strategic. For Ferrero, the Davis Cup offers a perfect test before the 2026 season begins in Australia. "Carlos learns from every challenge," the coach told local media. "He's playing smarter, not just harder." Meanwhile, in Italy, the reaction to Sinner's withdrawal has been divided. Critics called it a disappointment to the country, while others defended his choice, citing the relentless ATP calendar. Even Filippo Volandri, Italy's captain, acknowledged the toll of an intense season. "We understand Jannik's decision," he said. "He's given us everything these past 2 years. The Davis Cup will always be his home." Yet, the absence of Sinner, the hero of Italy's back-to-back Davis Cup titles in 2023 and 2024, undeniably reshapes the balance of power. The headlines now read, "Spain rises. Italy pauses." For Alcaraz, it's another chance, not just to win, but to lead. To show that the next chapter of Spanish tennis doesn't only inherit the past, it surpasses it. As Ferrer put it, when Carlos steps onto that court wearing red, it's not just Spain playing. It's the future of tennis itself. And once again, under the bright lights of Bologna, the young champion will carry both his country and his own unstoppable legend forward. Tennis. Subscribe to World News Tennis for exclusive updates, on-court reactions, and inside coverage of Carlos Alcaraz's road to Davis Cup glory. While Carlos Alcaraz dominates the present, a new name is quietly beginning to echo through Spain's tennis academies: Jaime Alcaraz, his 14-year-old brother, who many already see as the next great promise of the sport. At first glance, Jaime's demeanor resembles his brother's: joyful, determined, and fearless. Yet his path is unfolding at its own rhythm. Born on June 8, 2011, coincidentally the same day his brother lifted his first Roland Garros Junior trophy, Jaime grew up surrounded by the sounds of rackets, sweat, and dreams. His rise has been steady, marked by natural talent and an astonishing maturity for his age. He is already European junior champion, ranked 5th in the world under 14, and a semi-finalist at the Spanish Nationals. His coach, Ramona Abenza, trains him at the Real Sociedad Club de Campo de Murcia, the same place where a young Carlos first began. Jaime is cheerful, attentive, and always wants to learn, Abenza said. He has his brother's intensity but adds a calm intelligence that's rare at his age. When asked about the advice Carlos gives him, Jaime smiled. "My brother doesn't talk much about technique," he said. "He tells me what matters outside the court: to rest, to eat well, to avoid risky things during tournaments. He says one bad step can cost you months." That philosophy, discipline beyond the baseline, is what defines the Alcaraz method. Their father, Carlos Alcaraz Gonzalez, who runs the Carlos Alcaraz Academy, has always insisted that greatness starts with habits. "Jaime has a better backhand than Carlos did at 14, he once joked. But in truth, he teaches both sons the same core values: humility, perseverance, and balance. What makes this story remarkable is not just Jaime's promise, but the ripple effect the Alcaraz family has created across Spain. In Murcia, tennis has exploded. Dozens of new academies, full junior circuits, and unprecedented attendance at local tournaments are all part of the Alcaraz effect. As Abenza explains, "We saw Carlitos grow up here. His joy and work ethic changed everything. Jaime and the younger kids look at him as an example, not as a shadow. In every way, the legacy is alive." The brothers may share the same last name, but their stories are unique chapters in a larger Spanish saga, one that began with Nadal and now continues with a new dynasty. Meanwhile, the tennis world debates another topic that both Carlos and Jannik Sinner have unexpectedly found themselves defending: the importance of exhibition events. After winning the Six Kings Slam in Riyadh for the second consecutive year, Sinner addressed criticism from journalists who questioned why top players keep participating in non-ATP tournaments despite an already overloaded schedule. His answer was direct and unapologetic. "People forget that exhibitions are part of how we connect with fans," he said. "These events give tennis a global stage. They're shorter, they're fun, and they reach places where ATP tournaments don't go." The Italian star, who earned $6 million for his triumph in Saudi Arabia, insisted that the purpose of exhibitions extends beyond money. "Yes, the prize is huge," he admitted, "but we're also giving back to the sport. Kids in these regions see us for the first time. That's how tennis grows." His argument mirrors Alcaraz's own view. When asked if such events contribute to player fatigue, Carlos defended them too. "Exhibitions are not like the ATP grind. They're not mentally exhausting. It's competition without the same pressure, and it inspires people." The debate has intensified in recent months as players like Taylor Fritz, Holger Rune, and Jack Draper have voiced concerns about injuries linked to an overpacked ATP calendar. Yet, paradoxically, those same stars continue to join high-profile showcases such as Riyadh's Six Kings Slam, which has become the most profitable tennis event in history. For many analysts, the rise of these global exhibitions signals a new phase in the sport's evolution, where entertainment, prestige, and legacy intersect. "It's tennis reimagined," said one commentator. "A balance between old-school competition and modern spectacle." Sinner's victory over Alcaraz in Riyadh, 6-2, 6-4, was another reminder that the rivalry between them transcends trophies. They represent two contrasting philosophies: Alcaraz's instinctive joy against Sinner's calculated precision. Yet together, they embody the new age of tennis: youthful, global, and unafraid to challenge tradition. As the year draws to a close, both men stand at the summit of the sport. Alcaraz prepares for the ATP Finals and the Davis Cup, while Sinner turns his focus toward recovery and a strong 2026 comeback. Between them, they've redefined what tennis dominance looks like, a blend of style, emotion, and intelligence. And somewhere in Murcia, a 14-year-old with a familiar smile is watching every point, taking notes, and dreaming. The Alcaraz name, once just a story of a gifted boy from southern Spain, is now an empire, spanning courts, generations, and nations. The racket that broke Nadal's record, the six-king slam that reshaped tennis economics, the rise of a younger brother, and the enduring spirit of rivalry, all threads of a single truth: the future of tennis is not coming. It's already here. Tennis. Subscribe to World News Tennis for exclusive behind-the-scenes stories, interviews, and analysis on the new golden era of tennis, led by Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and the next wave of champions.